Hello and welcome to the Decibel Fused Podcast, the official music podcast of the website Surreal Resolution. I'm your host, Robert, and does anyone want to give me $100 for that Samurai Jack Blu-ray? And with me, I have...
Death Grips is online.
And...
I think this book's on his door.
We all had our witty segues this week, man. And yeah, Death Grips. We're gonna get to that soon enough. So yeah, episode 55, and I had quite an eventful weekend, so much so that I'm going to just take over the formalities from here. So, I was at my first ever edition of the 3 Points Festival, year 5, I believe it is, as far as its overall progression. Now, naturally, of course, I was very much hyped because it was marking the first, and who knows, possibly only, Florida performance of motherfucking Gorillaz. But of course, there was plenty of other hype shit around there, and some neat surprises during my weekend. So, I get there on Friday. I get there by about 7:30. I don't actually get into the venue until 8, because there were a lot of people trying to, cram in at that time. So, unfortunately, I had to miss Caitlin Aurelia Smith's set. She was the first one I wanted to see on Friday. But thankfully, I was able to make it to the main stage, that big main festival stage. I think it was called Mind Melt or Mainframe. Yeah, Mainframe, I believe is the stage name. Where, of course, the first performance I saw was Thundercat. That was quite the fun set to just vibe out to. And I don't know who the hell that drummer is. I forget his name. But the drummer that he was playing with live is just immaculate. I've never seen a more complexly played set of drums. At least until the following day, but we'll get to that soon. And yeah, it was a lot of stuff, mostly from, drunks. So, there was Captain Stupido, a really extended version of the bass solo jam, Drink Dat, Friend Zone. Oh, and of course, Tokyo. Which, there was a point where, after he finished playing through the whole song, he went back to that whole, I went to the dentist and he gave me a toy. It wasn't his dick. And there was, of course, even a brief interlude, which, in a moment that I'm sure would make John very happy, he was like, so how many of y'all are fucking pumped for Dragon Ball FighterZ when that comes out? I don't know I don't know what's taking them so long. They must think we're fucking stupid or something. But, Thundercat, good games take time. You just don't want to rush something out to market, otherwise you end up with a maybe functional but underwhelming version of a product that, back in its prime, gave you a great deal of joy. But then again, that would be telling. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, and then as soon as that set up, I was trying to kill some time, because there was a half hour before Danny Brown's set, so I went to another stage, and I caught a bit of Arca, and I believe Jesse Kondo was the name. So from what I've heard from that set, it was a lot of mixing in a lot of really a lot of the kind of weird, abstract, noisy-ish kind of music that Arca produced with a lot of, stereotypical Spanish dance music. It was an interesting blend of flavors, I'll admit. But then back out to Mainframe to catch motherfucking Danny Brown. And yes, it was quite the fun and interesting performance in a lot of spots. Of course, some of the highlights include, Dip, Kool-Aid from the Silicon Valley soundtrack, a lot of stuff from Atrocity Exhibition, and, one little moment that I thought was kind of humorous. So, okay, when he was performing Ain't It Funny, things were going smoothly, but by the time he got to, the last verse, I guess the DJ must have gotten out of sync with him, because it was very clear that one of them was a measure ahead of the beat, or a couple beats ahead of the other. So eventually he just kind of had to do that, okay, we're cutting this shit out, but then it transitioned directly into Danny doing his verse from Really Dough.
Ooh.
So, that was fun hell, he was even doing the hook on that himself, because obviously he couldn't bring Kung Fu Kenny in. But yeah, I wonder if that was intentional or not, because that DJ, man, he's got to get his shit together, in the shit museum and everything. Also, he closed out his set with, that song he did with producer Rusty, the one from his second album, aka, the only good song on that Rusty album. Attack, motherfuckers! And then once that was done, obviously came the wait for Gorillas, the big main event. And as soon as it happened, all was right with the world. It was just an extravaganza with so many cool background visuals with all like the band members and shit, and even like this kind of drop down screen where it would show like these pixel art representations of the group. And, of course, a lot of the songs were to be, expected. Clint Eastwood, Plastic Beach, which I believe was the set closer. A lot of stuff from Humans, including like Saturn's Bars, Andromeda, although sadly there was no drum there. I know a couple of the songs, they actually did bring out the collaborators, because I know that Kali Uchis, or Ukis, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right, because she was also performing at the festival, so like their song that they did together, she came out for that. Although, weirdly enough, they did not bring out Danny Brown to perform Submission. I guess because they wanted to, like, I don't know, get, God, what was her name? The woman singing on that? I'm blanking so hard on this right now.
I know when, Kiela, I think.
Kalela, I think.
Kalela, yeah.
But, like, they did Strobe Light, and they brought out the guest singer for that. Sex Murder Party, both of the, guest singers for that. And, the kind of interesting thing to me was the fact that, surprisingly, for all the ground they covered, they did not play Feel Good Inc. I guess because they couldn't find a way to bring in De La Soul or anything, which is to be expected. You wouldn't want to perform your biggest hit without the collaborators there, but still, like, I mean, a lot of the other songs, they just had, like, the guest verses running in, like, a screen on the background, so. But no, yeah, it was a good set, especially with, like, the gospel singers in the back, just kind of, contributing to the atmosphere of a lot of tunes. It was all a good show. And then, of course, came the next day, where I got to see quite a lot more. So as soon as I get there, I hit up the, I think it was section, or Sector 3, it was called, which was a stage for, like, a lot of, the more independent, and even some local acts. So there were a couple, I think 3, in fact, that I caught down over at, that stage. And then, after those 3, then I went back to the main stage, because Mark's Precious Bad Bad Not Good was the first, like, or maybe, like, the second big act that was performing there, but, it started raining at about, like, 8:20, and, yeah, it was raining for quite a bit, like, it was a good, solid 10 minutes or so, but, or maybe, like, 15 minutes before it finally faded away, so that kind of delayed the start of the set a bit, but as soon as they were able to go on, it was quite a good show. A jolly good show indeed. Seriously, the chemistry between those guys and their actual instrumentation is tight, and especially the drummer, who I guess in live shows, I guess he doubles as the front man, because he was the main one, like, engaging the audience on everything, but no, yeah, it was all good shit there. It was all the goodest of the good shit. Although I feel like the rain might have been Mark secretly punishing me because I got to see them and he didn't. It could happen. I don't know if he has weather powers. Maybe that's his stand, as far as we know. But yeah, after that it was kind of a while to whatever the next thing I wanted to see was. I don't remember what it was I wanted to see specifically next. I think it might have been Mark Ronson versus Kevin Parker. But so that's it finished. I'm just killing time. I grab a donut from one of the vendors. I go back through, God, what was it? I'm trying to remember what it was, but, okay, so I'm walking back over to, like, sort of back and forth between different parts of the stage, but as soon as, like, I cross back over the main stage, just kind of out of curiosity, I'm hearing this very buzzing noise, almost kind of like vuvuzelas run through, like, industrial synths and whatnot. And as it turns out, it was the next artist up on the main stage, some act named Eva's Tumor, YVES, and I gotta tell you, this was the big surprise for me, because I wasn't expecting any kind of... Okay, first of all, I wasn't expecting a noise set from anyone, and second of all, I certainly wasn't expecting this on the main stage. Keep in mind, the same main stage that hosted Gorillaz and Bad Bad Not Good was also hosting a noise act. And I gotta tell you, just seeing them on that stage, that massive stage alone with, like, the blaring, like, red, saturated, corrupted visuals, almost kind of like any given, horror web show on YouTube, with just the loud, industrial, just constantly buzzy against your senses, rumbling through your bones. It really made this performance just feel massive in a way that a lot of noise music sometimes doesn't get to, because, it's relegated to, like, the corner of, like, a bar or something. Although it was kind of funny that Toomer kept arguing with the sound guy, because they were all like, turn the fucking monitors down and crank up the main goddamn speakers as loud as possible. I'm not gonna fucking tell you again. And, so out of curiosity, I went to check, like, a song or two from Toomer, like, once all was said and done. I was like, okay, apparently the recorded material is a lot of, like, I guess sort of pretty Pan-African music or whatever, and this was certainly different, but, credit to Toomer. That was a good set. And then that's when I finally went back over to catch some of the Kevin Parker from Tame Impala versus Mark Ronson, which was kind of like this back and forth DJ set with a bunch of remixes of all kinds of shit in there. Like, it opened with a remix of a Tame Impala song, which I believe might have been off of Currents. And then, there was other stuff thrown in there, like, Humble or Bodak Yellow. God, I'm trying to remember what else. Anyway, I didn't catch the whole set because I decided, like, I needed to, like, sit down for a bit. My feet were fucking killing me. So I'm just kind of sitting out on the steps watching across from the main stage where Nicholas Jar was performing. And, that was a fairly interesting set. I think it certainly got me interested enough that I'm going to check out some Nicholas Jar stuff when I get the chance. And so after that, once my feet finally feel better, I go back into the Mind Melt stage, where I managed to catch the back half of Skepta, some UK grime rapper who I'm heard of, but haven't heard before now. But I'm like, okay, this I can fuck with. I can kind of, get into it and everything. And sadly, I kind of had to leave a bit early. Like, I left by around 2:10. But I was able to catch, like, about 25 or 30 minutes of the last big performance of the night, another one of Mark's Precious's, K-Tronada. Yeah, so, like I said, he went on from, like, 1:30 to 3. I only caught, like, a third of it, but the third that I did catch, I'm very intrigued. I'm looking like, this Mark fellow has very good taste. And so that was basically the Saturday, which was way more eventful. Unfortunately, due to some like financial things, like some scheduling conflicts, I didn't go on Sunday. But from what it appears, I don't think I missed much, because that was the day where the only real notable acts that caught my attention were Perfume Genius and the XX, both of which I was like, meh. But still, it was a very interesting way to spend a weekend. Caught a lot of good music, ran into various friends here and there, had a very delicious donut filled with Nutella, glazed with Nutella, and topped with hazelnuts. So I'm like, it's all good. It was a winning weekend. Donuts. But yeah, do y'all have anything else you want to throw in as far as your weekend? Oh, I also forgot to mention, I saw Samurai Jack, the premiere movie, last night. HD transfers look really good, and I can't wait to actually have money to afford the full series.
Get it back in stock, Amazon. Some of us want to get it, like me.
Oh shit, it's already out?
Yeah, it came out literally today, and it's out of stock at Amazon.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's already out of stock? Like, damn.
Yeah.
That's like some Nintendo Switch shit. But yeah, anything you all did this past weekend?
No, just been working and trying to not be broke and trying to stay in the black and pay bills and do all that boring shit.
Sounds like a fun time.
I'm very tired.
And Mark?
I did jack shit. Mostly just write, and well, that's it.
Aw. See, I this is why I wish I had all of the money, so I could take you people along with me for fun times. But anyway, that covers all the formalities, which took longer than it usually does. So now we should probably get into the new song discussions, of which there are plenty. So as always, there will be a playlist down in the description if you want to listen along with us to understand what exactly it is we're talking about. And to start off, fuck you, Alex.
Oh, it's my turn?
Yes, it is. You put this song in the chat, so you live with the consequences.
Well, do you want me to talk about this song, since obviously you don't want to?
It's a fucking white guy with acoustic guitar, and I, shut it off after 2 minutes.
Okay, well, it's something worth talking about because, well, there are people who like it. I don't know who, but they do exist, so, we just gotta go for the clicks, okay? So, yes. Theory of a Deadman. That band you haven't heard about in, almost 10 years. They came out with a new song, Wake Up Call, which is coming off their upcoming album, Wake Up Call, out on October 27th, and this sucks. Now, okay, now let me put some context into this. These guys have always been a sort of quasi-notable name in the active rock scene of the mid-2000s. They even had a few good tracks like Santa Monica, but then they fell victim to the sex rock craze of 2008 and 2009, where every active rock band had a song about sex and strippers and fucking and all that shit. Honestly, I don't think it's a stretch to call these guys a poor man's Nickelback, which is hard to do. But with this new track, it confirms that claim. This is a pop-fueled bore fest with sample drums, thank you. That gives me just nothing to work with.
Oh, damn.
God damn it.
I think that might have been worse than the fucking acoustic guitar shit. Damn, this is the most dirt simple beat, and okay, was this so insulting to your drummer that he couldn't even be asked to record the damn thing? He just fucked off? Damn. But yeah, this is a wake-up call that this band still exists and you should not listen to them. Even if they try to do the Comcast thing and rebrand, because it seems like they're just calling themselves Theory on this one.
Yeah. Attention Canada. If your rock bands are not comparable in quality to Rush, don't bring them out.
Well, I don't
okay, Canada?
ever play Guard Road anymore.
You give us Tim Hortons, and we'll just not accept your terrible, terrible active rock bands anymore, okay?
We'll give you Wawa in exchange.
Yes. You'll get Wawa, we'll get Tim Hortons. Everybody's happy.
It's God, this thing is so bad, I need to actually wash it out with 14 minutes of pure, abstract, grating noise. So let's talk about Prurient. Yes, Prurient, a name that exists. I'm only aware because of that Adult Swim Noise compilation. They're coming out with a new album December 1st called Rainbow Mirror, courtesy of the extreme music label Profound Lore. Now, apparently while Prurient's last album was I think this 2-disc thing, as far as I know, like I said, I'm fairly new to Prurient. This album is going to be over 3 hours long. It's going to span 4 CDs and 7 LPs, depending on how you choose to listen. I don't know what else has 4 discs to it. Final Fantasy 9.
And 8.
Oh wait, I thought 8 was 3.
It might be. I don't know. I'm tired. I'm trying to stay awake with a fucking 24-ounce can of Monster right now, so I'm a little loopy.
Welcome to the club, pal. So, yeah, this song... we do have a song here. It's called Naturecum, all one word.
Okay.
Maybe it's pronounced Naturecum or something. It's some... I don't know. All I know is... man, this is very... I guess it's appropriate this single dropped in October, because this kind of has, that very unsettling, almost kind of horror noise-ish vibe to it. So, you're just kind of hearing this high-pitched sort of whining at the beginning, punctuated by these sort of grinding, these bursts of metallic grinding noise, this persistent howling feedback with these kind of tweeting bleep boop accentuations. It kind of buzzes, and there's this buzzing noise as well that's almost kind of how to describe it? Sort of like a lawnmower, or that thing that they use at barbershops to actually cut your hair. I don't know what the proper term is for it. one of those fucking electric hair trimmer things. Not to mention these sort of like bursts of very synthetic vocals that kind of sound like, again, like I think I might have mentioned this earlier, the kind of things that you would hear in like one of those spooky creepypasta YouTube web shows. It just kind of, hell, it almost sounds like the mic is being cupped in the worst possible way. Except this is an occasion where you're allowed to do that because it's noise. So if you need something to put you in an unsettling vibe, you could check out some Prurient, and if you got more 3+ hours to kill, which now that I think about it, might make this the longest album I ever plan to listen to, and that's including Aphex Twin's Selected Ambient Works Volume 2 and Swan's Soundtracks for the Blind.
Yeah. Now I'll say I'm interested in this, but I feel like I need to hear this whole album in a dark, windowless room with my headphones on, just so I can freak myself the fuck out. And this album's going to be 7 LPs or 4 CDs and over 3 hours long. That's an element of pretentiousness that's almost admirable, honestly.
Gotta love the noise. And so moving on from that to just a straight up metal banger that, again is washing the taste of theory out of our mouths. Max and Igor Cavalera, the Cavalera brothers, and their project, Cavalery Conspiracy. I just like saying Cavalera. That's a fun, badass last name. They're dropping a new album November 17th called Psychosis, and they've dropped the first single, Insane, which, again, it's just a straight-up metal banger. Pretty thrashy. The production kind of has, like, in the guitars especially, has, like, this nice balance of, like, a sharp attack while still kind of having, like, this sort of atmospheric muddiness to it. Drums, they're pretty fast-hitting. They maintain the grooves and the thrash beats pretty well. There's some killer, breaks and soloing in here. It's just, it's a fun time here. This is just some moshing as fuck metal banger right here.
Mm-hmm. Now, I apologize if I'm butchering the Portuguese language, but, Louvado ser os irmãos Cavalera.
I have no idea what any of that means, but I'll assume it's a compliment.
Praise be the Cavalera brothers.
Oh.
In Portuguese, because, Brazil.
Ah, right.
Yeah, regardless of bad language butchering aside and horribly offending entire country of people, this song kills. It is a perfect mosh pit song where you just want to bash yourself into the wall of bodies around you and just go to town. But, do it responsibly. Don't try and be like those fucking Denver hardcore motherfuckers.
This reminds me now that I actually need to get around to the other 2 Cavalera albums. They've always been on the periphery of my radar. I haven't dived into their music yet.
Periphery.
I see what you did there. But moving on, now let's do what they do in a Metroid-style game and go back to something that we have talked about before, but with enhanced power and knowledge, so that way we can actually conquer the challenge for good this time. And the challenge is Mr. Big Willie style, Mr. Will Smith. Apparently still on a campaign to kill his fucking career and any sense of credibility he had. Now, last time we talked about The Smith, we had some footage of a show he performed with Jazzy Jeff where they premiered a new song titled Get Lit. And you might be wondering why we're bringing it up again here. Well, the reason for that is, now there's actual audio! Like, on Spotify! As in, they produced this in a studio and edited it and released it to the masses.
And guess what? It still sucks.
Oh, God.
Mr. Smith, contrary to the phrase that you repeat to an incessant degree in the song, you do not have what it takes to light up the place. And no matter how many times you say it and drill it into our heads over a beat that sounds like that fucking one Deadman 5 track, you're not going to make it happen. You're not going to get us to get lit. And your bad auto-tune is not helping.
Oh, God. Okay. Here are my real-time thoughts of this pile. Dance hall? Really, Will? And oh, God, why the auto-tune? Why? And then I just shut it off and just listened to fucking nod your head instead. Which is actually a good song.
Okay, so I love how like I had to like tap out early on Theory of a Deadman. You got through the whole thing, but this is where you draw the line. That's fucking great.
Yeah, I'm gonna say what I said last time. Where's Uncle Phil?
Where
Uncle
is...
Phil is dead!
You don't gotta remind me, Alex. You're making me sad. You know,
now I feel like Carlton, who just used to run around the entire time-space continuum just screaming in agony and pain, just dragging my knees across the floor before finding myself running through a studio audience.
Now I'm
And there's no gotcha!
Now I'm sadder than the existence of this song. Oh! But let's move on to something that's at least actually musically interesting. So, one of my favorite sort of gent bands that I think still have yet to really break into the ultra mainstream on the levels of Veil of Mayan Periphery is a group called Wings Denied. They've got some pretty good stuff under their belt. If you've never given them a shot, I say you do so as soon as you're done with this. They've currently got an album in the works, but they decided to drop a new song, a single called Nero. And fun fact, all sales of this song proceeds will go to a suicide prevention charity called Hope for the Day. So, you know, if you buy this song, you get to contribute to a good cause and get yourself some pretty shreddy, genty as fuck, gent. Now, I will say the main groove that you kind of hear in, like, a lot of the choruses, it kind of reminds me a tiny bit of, like, The Bad Thing, like, a little bit in the rhythms, and then, like, with all the just shredding over it. Seriously, there was some shred on this thing, and the vocals kind of have, like, a nice gruffness while still maintaining, like, a very power metal atmosphere. Seriously, this thing mainly just sort of exists as, like, technical prowess all over the place. Like, I got blisters on me fingers!
Yeah, this song, it's great. Melodic as hell, tight as hell, the vocals are solid as hell. I really like the lyric, burn my Rome, be my Nero. I think that's just a really cool line. Nothing more to say, it's great.
And again, remember, buy it so you can, like, give this shit to charity and whatnot. So, Sleigh Bells. Apparently they're already planning to get back in the studio. As we know, last year they dropped their 4th full-length album, Jessica Rabbit. And this year it looks like they're planning a new mini-album, so they say, coming out November 17th, titled Kid Khrushchev.
Like Khrushchev?
Did somebody say Khrushchev?
Really?
The
Nothing?
fuck was that?
You know, whenever I put clips in my show, I do it in post. That way you get the whole audio, and it's funnier that way. Just a thing.
I wanted to get a reaction out of you people, because to me that's funnier. But I guess
it doesn't help when we can barely hear it, you know.
But I guess I'm the
They're
only
talking-
one who knows who recognizes the genius of the all-time greatest Family Guy cutaway, the Communists.
We couldn't hear it,
Oh,
okay?
that's from Family Guy. Well, I thought it was American Dad for some reason.
If you want to do it again louder, go ahead.
Well, that sounds like a personal problem, and I don't do second takes. But yes, with Kid Khrushchev, the announcement of it, they've dropped the first single, and Saints, which, you know, the song is just a whole lot of build up to nothing. It sounds very nice, and it's a lot of very ethereal ambient synths and airy vocals. Again, very ballady, like most of what was on Jessica Rabbit, but again, you can't just write a song that's all build up to nothing. In fact, there's a point halfway through where it almost sounds like it is gonna, like, climax, but then it just goes right back to the build. It's like, dude, really? You're gonna leave me with blue balls? Man. Remember when this band was great? I do. That feels like so long ago, like 2 albums ago. But anyway, let's move on to Adult Swim time with this past week's Adult Swim single from some rapper named Sparkmaster Tape, who apparently is super anonymous as fuck, according to the Wikipedias.
Yeah, basically, I don't know much about this guy. So anyway, he made a song called Ayo Charlie. Well, Charlie, and I will say when I first listened, it's like this is some like it sounds like some almost like old '90s like some '90s type of beat like that like that old
Boom bap.
yeah basically based on that boom bap shit. And I will say like the bars I hear are they're they're very weird, kind of funny at sometimes. Because first like I said, I've been ganga banga langa the singing langa shit. Okay, so we're like back by banner orangutans highly ranked, and right this is one. It was a very silly ass song, especially with the hook that gives up a motherfucking iPhone repeated, and they say, "Hey Charlie, give us a motherfucking iPhone." What's okay, but okay, that was kind of weird.
Yeah. Plus, it sounded like the vocals on this thing were like being filtered through a whole bunch of processing effects or something. So I don't know how much is like his real voice versus the effects, but this has some. This has got some flavor to it, man. I like it.
Yeah, there's some good stuff gonna come from him. Yeah.
So, with that out of the way, let's move on to our dear old friends in Westsidedoom.
Oh yes, they had to have another new single out, from whatever the release. I don't know when, but yeah, they got this one called Two Stings. We'll say this be this type of very eerie, very weird, eerie, that something that I do associate with The Alchemist with a bit sometimes, but I will say it's a good beat. I will say it's not my favorite out of the two tracks they're releasing them lately. Like I like the beat from the other single more, but this one's pretty alright too. Like Doom and Westside Gun still got some good chemistry on here. I will say out of all the all the verses, I think I sort of like Westside Gun's verse more. I mean, Doom's verse isn't bad. Doom verse is still good too, but I will feel like I'm more into Westside Gun's, on him, which I am starting to get a bit into him as of lately, and I've been liking what we put out. But yeah, this is like I'm liking what I'm hearing from this track.
Yeah, for me, Westside Gun stole the show. Like, I really got to check out more of their stuff as soon as I get a chance. But I'm probably going to be too busy, like, in the next couple weeks, especially because I've got to catch up on the first season of Stranger Things.
Oh, and that leads to another segment. So, you remember that, remember Kyle Dixon and Michael Stein, aka the guys from that group Survive?
Yep.
And of course, they released a track, basically a score piece from season 2, entitled "Walkin' in Hawkins." Yes, that's what it's called.
I assume Hawkins is like a location of some kind. I don't know. I've only seen the first couple episodes.
I've seen it all. I've seen it all, and I'm trying to remember. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, this is. Yeah, I will say it does retain. What you hear from season 1 is very eerie. It's very, very eerie. It's very dark. It's very more. It's very more. More thing within the tone of the show.
Really?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Eerie? Because it felt more weirdly calming than anything else. Like, this almost kind of reminds me of, like, something off of the last Laserhawk album with how, like, dreamy and serene it is in quality.
Okay. Maybe I meant, like, maybe I meant more, like, eerie and damn, like, maybe I meant either both eerie but more calm, but not like, it's like a relaxing eerie. What am I going with this?
I don't know, man. To be honest, I kind of felt like I could probably like fall asleep with this on in the background, but that's just me. Who knows? Maybe I'll know once I actually finally get through the rest of Stranger Things. And just as a record, the soundtrack comes out this Friday, with the actual second season dropping next Friday. So yeah, I'll have to make the time, but who has time when you're too busy trying to hunt down every scrap of information you can about Death Grips' current activities?
They put another one, did they?
Yes, yes they did. So, as we all know, Death Grips is online. To restate Alex's thing from earlier. So, they're, I believe currently, I think it may have already started already from what I've heard through the internet, they're currently on tour with Ministry. And you think they wouldn't have to say anything on their end about it, since Ministry is a pretty big name metal band, so, their marketing department pretty much has that shit, undercover. But Death Grips apparently felt it necessary to release their own tour promo video. It was kind of like just 6 minutes of them jamming out in like a dark room with a lot of green neon lights pulsating like a rave. And so there's this mix-in of like a lot of noise, occasionally cutting to what they're actually rehearsing and playing, which, includes songs like Get Got, or, God, what was the other one? I know the narrating voice mentioned a few songs, but afterwards, sometime after, they decided to actually release the audio that was, not the live audio from that actual video, releasing electronic drum solo dub mix single take. 11 minutes, more like 11 and a half minutes, of just pure electronic drum noise. No tonality, no rhythm, just kind of blaring in your senses. It's not even like, it's not like Death Grips 2.0, the ending track of The Powers That Be, where it still felt like there was a rhythm and a pace and some kind of tonality to it. This is just kind of noise all over the place. And, I do like me some good Death Grips noise, but I'm just bringing it up here because, as it's been mentioned many times, Death Grips is very laser-focused and purposeful when it comes to their use of the internet. They usually never say anything online unless there's some kind of important activity. So, between, so we had the Steroid Mega Mix from a few months ago. There was the, let me see here, there was the actual Death Grips is online, that whole thing that they were tweeting and retweeting for fans, and now we got the tour video and this. It makes me think that sometime, possibly in the next month, in fact, I will say latest end of November, we're getting a new Death Grips album. I'm calling it here. I'm calling it, and I'm so gonna be right on that. There's no way I can be wrong.
Don't bet on it like you did with Tool, which... or Metallica, which you still owe me some money.
But I don't have any money. I spent it all on festival stuff. But this one I'm sure is going to happen, because remember, if a year goes by and there isn't a proper Death Grips full-length album, then did that year even really happen? You gotta understand this shit. And since Alex brings up the subject of bets... Remember when I bet something about Tool recently?
Mm-hmm.
That's looking like I'm probably going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, we have Maynard's other project, which has apparently been on the back burner for arguably equally as long, A Perfect Circle, who... And this literally happened this morning. In fact, Alex, broke it. Breaking news in the newsroom.
Yep,
dropping
at 1:30 a.m.
Dropping their first new single in, I think it was 14 years? I don't know. I've never actually listened to A Perfect Circle, so I wouldn't know how long
it's been forever.
It's been. Sure, forever. Let's go with that. So, care to fill us in?
Sure. So while Tool is more, I guess you could say, ambient and progressive, A Perfect Circle is more cut to the chase, simplified, in-your-face rock, which, with this song, first off, Maynard, we missed you! Please come back to us. Please give us a new Tool album. We need it! Unfortunately, I don't think this is going to be on any upcoming Perfect Circle album either, since, why would it?
But they said they were working on one for next year.
They also said they're working on a new Tool album, which we haven't heard anything about that in months.
Yeah, but Tool isn't A Perfect Circle. There's a difference.
Yeah.
I think.
But going back to the track, it's a good blend of pumping rock and nihilistic depression, with the message being, fuck you, you're on your own here. I like it.
Yeah, that's basically what I got from, the gist of the song, which for the record is called The Doomed. Doomed.
Doom!
Our universe is doomed! Doomed!
But yeah,
Yes.
What I was getting here, the main verse beat is this kind of steady, sort of grooving drum rhythm, even kind of starting off with kind of the 16th note bass line to it, and the breaks between the verses and choruses and the choruses themselves kind of have this grand theatrical sort of triplet groove to them, almost kind of like some Baroque ensemble shit, or the score of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. So I'm listening, I'm thinking, okay, this is something pretty jammy. It sounds like your typical, radio hard rock, but with a little bit more of a theatrical edge to it. So I'm like, okay, cool. I can fuck with this. Maybe I'll have to make some room in my schedule for some perfect circles. Isn't that right, SpongeBob?
What the? A perfect circle? Do it again. Show your process.
Yes, do that. Perfect Circle is awesome. And I'm still going to be waiting for that money you owe me. I'm keeping tabs.
Oh, come on. I totally sent the money recently. I sent it a few weeks ago. I sent it to your P.O. box.
I don't have a P.O. box.
You do now.
No, I don't. I want my $80, goddammit. I will drive to Miami to get it from your cold, dead hands if I have to.
Wait, what?
1 month later.
Wait, when the hell was it $80? What the fuck did that happen?
$20 for the Metallica bet, and $60 for there not being a Tool album this year.
No. For that, I bet $40. Don't get it twisted.
Either way, you owe me money.
Anyway, that covers the song discussion, so enjoy this break while we actually resolve this money situation, which, for the record, is only $60.
Pay me, motherfucker!
There's gonna be guns, isn't there?
And we're back. So now that it appears that the money issue has been quote-unquote settled, we can all go about our business, at least until Black Friday, when we're going to spend money on records, presumably. Or other things, who knows? Take it away, Alex.
What's that?
Take it away.
Oh, yeah. So earlier today, after some quote-unquote leaks and quote-unquote rumors, which, don't fall for those, we now have our official list of releases for Record Store Day, Black Friday, and I mean, it's okay. It's not like the main Record Store Day list. There are a couple of kind of cool things in here, but all in all, it's a little more low-key than it was, say, last April.
So, what exactly is lurking on the Black Friday for everyone?
Well, I'll go ahead and lay out some of the, I guess you could say, notable releases and just list them out. So, there's an Anthrax 12-inch picture disc single for what I'm presuming is a cover of Carry On Wayward Son, which is nice.
Yay.
There is a 12-inch single of the song Chase Me by Danger Mouse featuring Run the Jewels and Big Boy from Baby Driver.
Woo!
Nice.
There is a double LP picture disc release of Gorillaz' Humans album.
Dank.
Yes, very dank. Of course, as always, there's a picture disc of Game of Thrones because there's always at least one Game of Thrones album at Record Store Day. There is the most quote-unquote beloved Christmas song ever, Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney on a 7-inch vinyl.
Okay.
Yes. There is, of course, the greatest jock rock songs ever, We Are the Champions, We Will Rock You, on a 12-inch vinyl from Queen, obviously.
Swag.
Yes, very swag. There's even something from Dimebag Darrell called The Hits, which I tried to look this up. There is absolutely no information about this at all other than the title. So, well, we'll all know what that's going to be like on Black Friday. And along with that, there are some really odd ones out, like, say, The Great Malenko, the 20th anniversary release from the Insane Clown Posse.
Oh shit, bust out the Fago, motherfuckers.
Yes. Burst out some Fago, but just don't drink it when it's like 30 degrees outside. You will freeze. There is, of course, the greatest Christmas album ever made, Twisted Sisters, A Twisted Christmas, getting a vinyl release.
Nice.
There's something I'm sure all the fucking 90s ska fans will like. Sublime's 40 Ounce to Freedom on a double LP picture disc release.
Oh, no, screw that, man. I'm a ska fan. I'm like, fuck Sublime.
Oh, good. You understand me. There is also a Frank Zappa release coming out. Lumpy Gravy with Primordial. I think I'm laying it out all right. There's a Neil Young album. There is a Guardians of the Galaxy Baby Groot vinyl.
Okay, but I have one question, though. Is there a Thomas the Tank Engine picture disc?
Not this time.
Oh, then I don't give a shit. Fuck all this. Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yes. And along with that, there are some final reissues for albums such as from Ziggy Marley, Notorious B.I.G., Prodigy, Lil Jon and the East Side Boys.
Yeah. Kings of Chrome 50th anniversary. Damn, 15 years since that happened.
And we were never the same. There's even a Grateful Dead Records collection, which is a 5 LP set, a live album from The Doors, the soundtrack to The Forbidden Zone from, of course, Danny Elfman and the Knights of the Oingo Boingo, motherfucker.
Oingo Boingo.
There is a live album from the Brian Setzer Orchestra. There is a 10-inch vinyl Diamante from At the Drive-In.
Ooh, very nice.
Yes. There is, oddly enough, the Gold album, 18th Dynasty from Tyga. I don't know why, but whatever.
Wait, you had that album that went double fake gold.
Yeah, so going through this list, there isn't something I'm really, I guess you could say, totally looking forward to. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple of cool things to be found here, such as, well, there's going to be a split single from Thy Art is Murder, The Acacia Strain, and Fit for an Autopsy, The Depression Sessions. Or, I'm sorry, it's not a single, it's a CD.
Oh, boy, that's a whole bunch of deathcore.
Yeah. And here's something I'm sure some of our training stage quote-unquote friends would enjoy. A final issue of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim soundtrack.
Elder Scrolls is everywhere.
Todd Howard will make sure you have Elder Scrolls planted into your brain.
All newborn babies starting in the year 2022 will come pre-installed with the Elder Scrolls V.
They're going to try and turn a profit on that game. So yeah, Record Store Days Black Friday list is it's okay. I mean, there are some good things around here, but nothing that you should really fight people for. But then again, you shouldn't fight people anyway because it's Black Friday and people have to work.
Where's my Thomas the Tank Engine, though?
You got it last April.
No, I didn't.
Oh, well, you got other stuff last April.
But not Thomas.
You know, I had a chance to get that. I didn't because I'm a man of taste, and I am also a man of good memes. Like
since
stuff
when?
Stuff involving tables and spanking and grapefruits and Guitar Hero. And also periphery YouTube poops.
Those aren't memes, though. God damn, you don't know the quality of memeing. Jeez.
Whatever you say, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Oh, wait. There's also one other thing, which I didn't know people wanted, but I guess it exists. We all know the song Come Together, right? The classic from the Beatles. Well,
yeah.
Apparently, there's going to be a cover of that for the soundtrack to Justice League, performed by Gary Clark Jr. and Junkie XL.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like Junkie.
Yeah, I like Junkie XL, but damn, I don't know how to feel. Like he made some good stuff before, like the score of Mad Max Fury Road, which is damn good, but
and Deadpool.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Junkie XL did stuff for Deadpool, didn't he?
Oh yeah. That's why he did do that for Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
But man, Gary Clark Jr., this is just gonna be one of those unnecessarily moody covers of a classic pop tune, ain't it?
Yeah. I'm kind of underwhelmed, considering the supposed early listings had a lot more stuff to offer. Like, one site said that there was going to be like vinyl issues of Strapping Young Lad's self-titled and a new Black album, but not the case.
Damn it.
At least not over here.
But okay, so that's happening. You now know for Black Friday. We got to move on. We've been on this for a bit, so
They were all drunk.
I see what you did there. So yeah, speaking of drunk, taking it back to the subject of Thundercat, he premiered a new music video this past week for "Show Me the Way," his collab with Michael McDonald and Kenny Loggins. And I'm not completely sure I get the plot of this video. Like, I know there's some dude without arms. He probably doesn't know how to play the game Arms. And, like, he goes to some kind of, I don't know, cults or something?
Or, I don't know, cult or health treatment center or something. I don't know. I think he goes there and, I don't know, shit happens. They hugging him and no shit. You think there's some vomit? Vomit or shit. And then he watches a video of Thundercat and K. Loggins and Mike McDonald playing the song, which, yeah, this is all weird.
It's just that I'm not even sure what, like, the story is here, other than, like, I assume that when they say "show me the way," they mean, like, in a religious enlightenment sense. So, basically a cult, which would certainly make things very creepy for a man with no arms. Clearly what this video needed was more Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Clearly.
Then again, everything needs more Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Also, I don't believe he performed this song at 3 points, which is very sad. Then again, it probably would have cost a lot just to get Kenny Loggins and Michael McDonald out for one song.
Yeah, it's true.
Such is the way of life. And I don't really have anything more to add here, so I suppose we should move on.
Yeah.
Okay, now, did I ever tell you all the story about how I became a guitar player?
Nope.
Well, you see, one day I was just standing out in the rain with my head hung low. I couldn't get a ticket. It was like a sold-out show. I heard that roar of the crowd. I could picture the scene. I put my ear to that wall, and then just like a distant scream, I heard one guitar! And it blew me away. There were stars in my eyes. The very next day, I bought a beat-up 6-string in a secondhand store. I didn't know how to play it, but I knew for sure that one guitar, it felt good in my hands, and it didn't take long for me to understand. Just one guitar slung way down low. It was a one-way ticket. It was the only way to go. The point of the story is, Foreigner is going to be turning Juke Box Hero into a musical.
One of the immortal classics of 80s arena rock jams.
Yes.
I have nothing bad to say about Juke Box Hero. That is a fucking classic, and anyone who disagrees is getting sent to the gulags.
Yes. We will use the Foreigner belt on you and turn you into Swiss cheese.
We'll fill your eyes with that double vision.
Yeah. So, anyway, this musical, it's going to be based on a screenplay written by the duo responsible for Across the Universe, of all things, Dick Clement and Ian LaFreniere. And it will feature quite a bit of songs from the Foreigner repertoire, such as, of course, Juke Box Hero, Cold as Ice, I Wanna Know What Love Is, Hot Blooded, and I've Been Waiting for a Girl Like You. And, of course, the Sexy Sax Supremes song that is Urgent.
Yeah, I saw those guys in the Meadowlands with Bryan Adams. That was a kick-ass show. I totally copped this feel off this passed-out broad while they were playing Urgent. Every time I hear Urgent on the radio, I think of that girl's boobs and covered in vomit.
Yeah, that tour with Bryan Adams, it was a kick-ass show. And also, this show will debut first, oddly enough, in Canada in August of next year. So, hope you enjoy it, Canada. I'm sure this will be a lot better than American Idiot.
Well, I mean, to be fair, anything is better than American Idiot. I assume. I've never actually listened to the album in full or watched the musical.
It's good. I may as well talk about the setting of this as well, since, context. Quote, Juke Box Hero is set in Bladon, Pennsylvania. I don't think that's a real place, but I'm sure someone will correct me. A Rust Belt town dependent on one main industry. The story starts with the closure of its biggest factory and the plight of its now unemployed workforce. The town seeks the help of Bladon's most famous son, music superstar Ryan. But returning to Bladon doesn't just mean revisiting a town where he's become a stranger. It means confronting the ghosts of his past.
So what you're telling me is that he killed someone to get the money for that beat-up six-string.
Presumably.
Well, that's got to be something for the ghost of the past.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm sure this will probably be like a grand old fun time, man. So we'll just have to see whenever this thing actually, gets out to the public here in the States. But moving on from that, again.
God damn it, Tom Delonge.
Again with the alien shit. Really, Tom?
What do you do now?
Okay, so I think I mentioned this last time that Tom, last we heard, he sent emails to Hillary Clinton's campaign about aliens.
Oh yeah.
Which, if she's getting emails like that, no wonder she deleted them all. Can you blame her? Who has time for that stupid shit? But anyway, then he was writing a book, a sort of fiction/nonfiction in his mind thing about encountering aliens. But now he has started a brand new project, To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science, involving former government advisors and ex-members of the CIA and U.S. Department of Defense. It sounds as though, this, whatever this thing is, it's some kind of institution thing, and the way he promotes it is really sketchy. It seems like a sort of TED Talk-ish type of thing. The video itself is basically like a Kickstarter pledge type thing, where it's a bunch of people that are like, have you ever had the desire to look outward, to the edge of what is known and unknown? And it's apparently the first transparent partnership of its kind between the fields of aerospace and engineering, science, and cinematic entertainment. What? Is he got to film a Jackass-style documentary with the aliens?
Oh.
And again, that's quoting from Delonge, and to quote again from him, this will enable, quote, the growth of consciousness that we all desire. Actually, I personally prefer the growth of my height from being 5'3", but sure, I'm sure conscious growth is also acceptable in some circles.
I'll say this. If there are aliens, they're not going anywhere close to here, considering the shit we've done.
Actually, that's kind of why I'm hoping they're coming here, because I'm hoping they're the destructive ones, like from Mars Attacks, and they just wipe everything out already.
Or maybe it's the ones from Independence Day, and they just blow up the White House.
That
works too.
Fingers crossed.
Should him and B.O.B. team up?
Oh, no. We don't need to bring in Mr. Bob into this. Him and his fucking flat earth ass.
But it's who knows? Maybe the aliens have a giant planet inflator device that can inflate the Earth to a sphere.
Oh, damn.
Oh, man. So, you have to wonder, who's actually going to pledge money for this shit?
Probably the same people who pledged to Bob's fucking flat Earth satellite discovery bullshit, Indiegogo, whatever the fuck it was.
Oh, yeah. That reminds me. Did that thing ever even get past $6,000?
I doubt it.
Checking right now. It was a GoFundMe. Excuse me. $6,292.
Oh, damn. That's sad, man. Just these musicians with their weird obsessions. They need to find better hobbies. But anyway, moving on to the last story this week, and this is the one that basically blew up the internet, both for good and for ill, depending on your perspective. So, the BET Hip Hop Awards were apparently this past week. I forget what day they were, but they obviously happened.
It was last Tuesday.
Last Tuesday, right.
Oh, yeah. Same thing. We recorded our album roundup.
Mm-hmm.
And so the big thing that stuck out from the show, I'm not sure how much stuff actually happened outside of this thing, was a pre-recorded cypher from the one and only Marshall Mathers, dropping what many consider to be the most fire and impassioned anti-Trump cypher that any rapper has put out. And there's been quite a lot of reactions from various spheres of the internet, not just average Joe denizens, but even various big-name rappers offering various differing perspectives. So, just to check, what is it that you all think of this cypher?
I think it's fucking great. Now, I know people are going to say, yeah, we've heard all this before, and, Fantano made a couple of good points of that when he talked about it, but these are things that have to continue to be said, because in our society nowadays, whenever something happens, we just forget about it after a couple of days. We can't keep doing this shit!
Now, here's where I'm coming from on this. I agree with that base principle in theory, but first off, the actual presentation of this cypher thing was just kind of dry. Like, it felt like some embittered poet in, like, a coffee house delivering, like, a poetry slam. And shit, I'm not alone in that.
Intent.
Fucking Vince Staples agrees as well. And that's a guy that loves the shady. And, oh my god, you have no idea how badly people were trying to drag him on Twitter for it. I'm like, fuck you, Vince is Vince, he can say what he wants. But here's my thing here. This thing looks exclusively at Trump and only Trump, like he's the cause of all the problems. And I kind of have to... My perspective on this thing is more on the side of what Chance the Rapper was tweeting about this, in that, yes, Trump is an awful person. His actions are incredibly terrible and act to the detriment of humanity as a whole. But, at the end of the day, he is not the disease. He is a symptom of the disease. The actual root forces underlying, society, the various sociological forces that would allow for a Trump presidency to happen in the first place are the things that really need to be addressed here. And it cuts a lot deeper, a lot more to the roots than just kind of the orange-skinned madman in the White House. He is just ultimately the apotheosis of a bunch of shit that's been bubbling under American society for fuck knows how long at this point.
Yeah. I agree with that, but I'll contribute to that. He is the gas of a gigantic fucking fire. And like it or not, whatever he says or does, it makes things that much more fiery and that much more worse. So we have to look for someone to blame. And yeah, it's not always on him. It's amongst many, many, many people. But at the end of the day, when you're the president, you have an obligation to stand a moral ground towards civility. And he ain't doing that shit.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, at this point, the time for civility has passed. Punch him in the face like Spencer.
Yes.
And like you say about the gas thing, and while I'm willing to concede maybe, it's almost kind of like a feedback loop at this point. Like the shitty actions of the various, economic anxiety white people who are just, terrified as shit that their genes are getting replaced by, the Hispanic people, as if white people have any ever contributed a real word to society. Those motherfuckers, they say the kind of shitty ego-boosting things that validate Trump's actions, and then Trump, in turn, gives them their ego strokes in terms of dog whistling to, white nationalist fuck assholes in the world. And, God, there was one more thing I was gonna say here. There's also kind of this thing where, like, it's really weird that, like, okay, so you know how Keith Olbermann was like, I had my doubts about rap for this extremely specific
that won't
that was really fucking stupid.
Yeah,
I like Keith Olbermann, but that was just stupid.
It's like, it kind of points to this whole thing that Vince was also commenting on, where, like, okay, so black rappers have been saying shit about, like, institutional racism, government corruption, and Trump being a fuckface for, like, a while at this point, but they always get, like, the brunt of, like, media scrutiny and just, getting their asses chewed out. Isn't that right, Geraldo Rivera?
And now the Eminem say that a white rapper, and I was like, oh, I get what rappers saying now. It's like that type of stupid, like that type of folk woe shit that, the McKeel would sound like. Have you listened to most rappers aside from Eminem? I mean, God, motherfucker. I mean, for me, the cypher, it was like I like the cypher and all. I say it's the one good thing I heard from Eminem from a long time.
Yeah, it's just kind of, there's a lot of really complicated thoughts to have as far as this whole thing is concerned, and I'm not really sure what the right answer is, other than, sure, it keeps the conversation going, but now it has to be steered in the most efficient and right directions. Hopefully into the side of the one asshole who ran over Heather in Charlottesville. Taste of your own medicine, bitch. But,
as far as what the right answer is, I don't think we're ever going to get a right answer, considering so many people have been, I'm not going to say gaslit, I'm going to say indoctrinated into believing all of this, lack of a better term, bullshit. It's just a matter of if and when people will finally smarten up and realize, hey, we've been conned, we got to do something about this shit. But unfortunately, that probably won't happen for a while, so we just have to keep telling people, hey, you've been conned. You gotta do something about this shit. And I gotta tell you, it's getting really fucking tiring.
Such is life. Such is life. But anyway, that basically covers all the news topics. So now we just got one last thing to take care of, and that is the new album releases for the week of October 20th, 2017. Starting from the top, we have the latest release from metalcore act We Came as Romans with Cold Like War. A new album from rapper Young Dolph with Thinking Out Loud. The latest album from prog metalers Vela Maya with False Idol. The latest album from Radio Rock Borefest's Trivium with The Sin and the Sentence. The newest album from Boys Man. Oh wait, I'm sorry, that's the Crunchyroll translation. Boys to Men with Under the Streetlight. Keisha Cole with her newest album 1111 Reset. Of course, the mighty return of Gwar with The Blood of Gods. And then, of course, we have a new Christmas album from the greatest woman who ever lived, Lindsey Sterling with Warmer in the Winter.
It's not even Halloween yet.
Lindsey Sterling is a perfect human being and can do whatever she wants. Anyway, we have the latest album from Neil Horan, who... He's a One Direction guy, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Okay, his latest album, Flicker, and last but most definitely not least, the icon of horror, John Carpenter, with Anthology, Movie Themes 1974 to 1988. That's gonna be a good one. Yeah, boy. And that'll, of course, wrap that up. So now's the part where we clean house and get the hell out of here. So, Alex, where can they find you on the internets?
Aura of Azure, literally everywhere, where you can see me vent and kvetch and just talk about whatever I fucking feel like. And if you don't like that, well, you can shove it up your ass. I don't fucking care.
Mark, what about you?
Of course, on the Twitter and Curious Cat at Mac2HybridMedia. And on my site, The Mind of Hybrid One at thehybrid1.wordpress.com. I'm doing shit, so yeah, let's go.
Nice. As for me, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and of course Curious Cat as well, at Rob Barracuda. Email me at robert@surrealresolution.com if you have any questions, song discussions, requests, business inquiries, and of course the dankest of the memes. Subscribe to the podcast on Google Play and iTunes. New audio-only episodes go up every Wednesday. This one might go up a little late, though. Video goes up every Friday. And, quick heads up, if you're listening to this episode, there's a chance you might be listening to it on a different channel. Because I'm probably going to be posting this over on what will soon be the new main Surreal Resolution YouTube channel. So, if you haven't figured that out by now, you're probably figuring it out now. So just go there. And then, of course, there's my own personal YouTube channel, Rob Barracuda. Whichever one you visit, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell tab, because you're always notified whenever new episodes of the podcast go up. And, of course, this is the official music podcast of Surreal Resolution. Follow on Twitter at Surreal Rezo. Like us on Facebook. Of course, visit us www.surrealresolution.com and follow us on the subdomain decibelboost.surrealresolution.com, where you can listen to all our archives and, of course, our other great podcasts. If you like gaming, we got The Training Stage. If you like movies, check out Salty Flakes. If you like anime, check out Podcast ONA. Pour one out for our boy Grape Coon.
Here, here.
See you at the crossroads. See you at the crossroads.
Yes.
That was
yes.
beautiful.
But yeah, of course, listen to those podcasts. Check out a lot of our great written content. Hopefully sometime this week, or maybe next week, depending on how long it takes me, I'll have a review of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. That's right, a month after it came out. I took a while to get to things, okay? I've been busy. And, of course, there's other written stuff as well. You know, King's Game, the animation write-ups, other things, I assume. Be sure to jump into our Discord chat, where we are going to... Well, I mean, I'm just going to shitpost memes. I don't know what the fuck everyone else is doing. And, of course, shout out to the producer, Mr. E, for graciously letting me use his music for this podcast. Links to his shit down in the description. So, that'll about do it. Thank you for joining us on this episode. And much like an amateur podcaster making reference to a YouTube channel that his co-hosts have never heard of, I'll be seeing you all real soon. Sleep tight.